What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Erica from the Classic Climb blog. Listen, $18 million to take the bag and run. Put in the comments, it's $18 million worth it for you to get the bag and run. Thank you so much to everybody who made the last video hit 33,000 views in under 2 days. I appreciate that. Thank you, Skynet, I guess, for letting it rock. All right, so guess what happened? We talked about this a couple months ago. You act like these things don't have power. FTC voted against non-complete clauses. They said they were not beneficial to people, beneficial to the person who quits their job. Now, think about it. You as a business owner have trained this person, invested this person. They've seen your handbooks. They've seen all your knowledge. They've seen all your information. And then they decide, you know what? Hey, I'm going to take this information. I'm going to take all this training. I'm going to take all these conferences you sent me to, and I'm going to run. That's just what happened at Fenty. Yes, Rihanna, the singer who owns Fenty, a billion-dollar brand, had a CEO that's only been on 1 year. Let me say that again. They have a CEO that's only been on 1 year, and now she just got poached by Victoria's Secret, and they gave her $18 million. Now, you're going to say, well, Erica, they gave her an $18 million sign-on bonus. What is that for? My personal opinion, I think they're giving her $18 million sign-on bonus to Victoria's Secret because Victoria's Secret's in the dumps. Victoria's Secret has been struggling. Victoria's Secret has been closing stores. And for Rihanna, as like many other startup, smaller companies, are gaining traction. They're gaining traction. They're gaining followers. They're using social media. They're being nimble, and they're bulldozing their way through. Again, Kylie Jenner hit 1 billion. Rihanna's Fenty hit 1 billion. A lot of these companies are hitting 1 billion. They're hitting big numbers, and they don't need the stores. They don't need all the old corporate America structure. They're literally targeting and using social media. And again, I'll teach a little bit of this in the future, in the fall, about how TikTok shopping, these things are really changing how people shop for clothes, shop for things. They purchase online. They're watching videos. So instead of saying, hey, Erica, I'm going to spend $10 million on ads and you're going to see me everywhere, they're getting an army of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 influencers to make videos so you're inundated by real people or people you like buying and purchasing the product. I remember Rihanna did a Fenty for like plus size men, and it was some black football players wearing the underwear, and people were going crazy, right? My truth opinion about Victoria's Secret stuck its nose up in the air about plus size women wanting to wear lingerie. Simple as that. They stuck their nose up for a long time, and what ended up happening is them sticking their nose up allowed competitors come in and have just more flexibility, more designers, people who are a little bit outside of a pencil body. That just is what it is, right? So there's been a lot of money in that economy. Especially when you look at the numbers and shapes of modern day women, not just in America, most of the world right now, right? So even I saw April Mason had like a 30-day lingerie challenge, and she sells lingerie. And so you talk about somebody with an audience of maybe like 1 million emails, and let's say just 30% of her audience buys, that's 300,000 people buying a product they create. This is why I want y'all to understand the non-compete clause is so dangerous. Because a company that would take a chance on a young guy coming out of college or a young girl coming out of college, they're going to send you to conferences. They're going to train you. They're going to put a lot into you at a certain price point. Most companies, and I'm just saying from personal experience, are going to poach, right? I had a young woman work for me for a good year. She came out. I paid her $30K a year, fresh out of college. I'm putting her through training. I'm putting her through all kinds of stuff. She literally went and got an offer for $60K a year. And she's only done this job for 1 year. And she was mostly trained by me. And she said, can you match it? And I was like, man, I'm not matching that. You just got here. I just trained you on all this stuff. I just put you through conferences. I just put you through all these online trainings. You don't even know what you think you know. And so her parents were trying to push her to like, yeah, go get your master's in marketing degree. I said, if your parents think you should go get another $20,000 in debt, you guys are a Latino immigrant family, they're unaware of how the economy works. So long the story short, I lost that employee, and I was okay with that. But every time I go to these conferences or I'm at a Cardone Ventures training, that's the same complaint. Every business owner is like, oh, I know I need to train my people, but what if I train them and they leave? A CEO was with your company for less than a year, got to see the whole back office, and then took an $18 million cut to go to Victoria's Secret. That sounds shady to me. But that's what you're going to see a lot more of. Same with Starbucks. Who's the Starbucks CEO? He's a former Chipotle CEO. He's not even going to come into the office. Okay, the office in Seattle, Washington, no one wants to be there. Let's just be honest. No one wants to be in Seattle. It's raining all the time. It's gray all the time. I know people are like, Seattle's the best. Tacoma was nice, but Seattle, y'all can have that. I loved Alaska. Seattle, you can have that, right? He lives on the East Coast. And so he's like, oh, I'm going to basically phone it in from my home. And they gave him a $10 million sign-on bonus. You guys have to understand at certain levels in the game, your switching in jobs is where you get the pay raises. I tell people all the time, you're hoping that you're putting all this work into your company and they should give you a bonus more than 3%. It's not going to happen. You get the bonuses when you switch jobs. So many times I see people upset about the tech industry, how a lot of people got laid off. They're like, oh my God, these people got laid off. And I said, yeah, in their next job, they're probably going to get paid 5 to 10 grand more. Every single time they job hop, they're going to get more money. The old thinking is I'm just going to show up to my job. I show up on time. I don't want to work anywhere else. And I'm going to be staying here consistently. That's just not how things work anymore, right? That's not how they work, and that's not how they'll go. Okay. Part of the new economy, and which I'm trying to get you guys so hard to see, is it's a great book you should check out is The One Thing by Gary Keller. Again, great book you should check out is The One Thing by Gary Keller. Companies and businesses that can be nimble, can move and be flexible and put staff on are going to win. Now, I don't mean 100 people on staff. I'm talking about at least 10, 15 people. And because once you have 10 to 15 people fighting for the same goal, pushing in the same direction, you as a business owner, your feelings and how you feel no longer is a part of the equation, right? The way, prime example, reviews. If you go on Amazon, you start seeing who has the most reviews of a product. I know people will refuse to buy something unless they read 10, 12 reviews. And I've seen people here. I've posted stories or different things, and they're like, Erica, do you vouch for this product? I'd be like, dude, it's $27. Take a deep breath. $27. You're not losing your shirt. It's not a $10,000 product. It's not a $200,000 product. But this is why people go to high price ticket items. Because if I'm going to have to work like a Hebrew slave to convince you to buy something, it's going to be something that's $10,000. And you're even talking about a different clientele. So again, when it comes to lingerie, I think also about Sarah Blakely, Spanx. A big private equity company just bought a significant part of Spanx, right? Because Spanx came into the door like, hey, women want shapewear that doesn't make them feel like, a robot, right? And so a lot of times what people are not understanding is new competition comes in the market every week. Can old companies still have millions of dollars and be fine and have staff? Sure. But new competition is always going to come into the marketplace. You have to completely carve out what is the number for you. Now, something I was going to talk about as well is zombie companies. And what does that mean? Zombie companies are 20% of companies in America right now, where they make good money. Money's coming in, right? They may be a $500,000 company a year, $1 million company a year, but they're not going to make much more debt in the marketplace. Why? Because they either need to spend the money on marketing, right? Or they need to spend the money on getting the debt down. And 9 times out of 10, they're comfortable or they are the bottleneck in their business. That's why so many people are talking about buying businesses, because you can see the solution to the problem, but the actual business owner can't see it. They can't see the problem. They don't know how to fix it. And so I always tell people the best thing you can do if you're thinking of buying a business, you need to be able to look at that business and say, what are they doing? Or what can I do to change this company? What am I going to throw at it? Because I was in a mastermind meeting the other day on Zoom, and they were saying how, like, if you're not spending $2,000 a month minimum, you're not serious about your business, right? They're talking about putting Facebook ads. They're talking about UCG marketing. I mean, right now you can go, I hate to say it like this, but you literally can go and spend $500 and get about, I think, for the $500 a month on this one platform, I think you can get about 10 videos. Yeah, 10 videos a month, right? So for every 500, you're getting anywhere from 10 to 15 videos. Now you're going to say, Erica, why 10 to 15? What does that matter if I have 10 to 15 people who put their face out there? I've been introduced to new products, new formulas, new supplements by a random face doing something goofy with the pills or doing some kind of testimonial like, I didn't even know I wanted to buy beef hearts. And then I saw this girl cook beef hearts in her nice cashware skillets, doing all this stuff. And I was like, that's super interesting. What is she marketing? She's marketing a farm, and they sell beef hearts. They know they're gonna sell, they need to sell a bunch of beef hearts in the fall and chicken hearts. And I was like, yeah, I'm totally interested now. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't, that company could have showed me a million pictures of farms, a million pictures of them riding on a horse. I would have never seen it. I saw a black girl telling me in a video she's gonna saute some beef hearts. And I was like, wait a minute, what? So if you're not even willing to spend $500 on your company to get new faces and new energy coming into your business, it's very hard to have real conversations with people. Number one conversation people are trying to have with you right now, oh, the economy, the inflation's crazy. And I go, for sure. What's the number we need to get past this? What's the number we need to get past this? Let me know. One of the videos I think I have coming out this week, later this week, but I want to address it, is what you're going to start seeing is cars parked everywhere. Now you're going to say, whoa, what does this mean, Erica? You're going to see seeing cars parked everywhere. And what do I mean? Foreclosures are going up. Car repossessions are going up. That is true right now in the marketplace. But another thing is people try to figure out how to budget. When they've overextended themselves, they're like, how can we budget? Let's try to save $50 a month. Right? Which is good. It's good. But truthfully, you need to figure out how to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, because any hiccup can come take you out. If you need to start saving $50 everywhere in your house, you start looking over your whole house, you're turning the heat up, you're turning the air conditioning down, you got the babies rolling down the windows when you drive anywhere in town, you need to make more income. Now, prime example of this, when I say cars are going to park everywhere, I came home to see my mother's town, and for sure, it's a middle to upper middle class neighborhood. Rarely have I seen semi trucks. Rarely have I seen work trucks. Rarely do the neighbors have unkept yards. Rarely do the neighbors have boats or motorcycles or anything anywhere. Rare. I came home. Before I even did the whole loop, I said, hold up. Is that 2 RVs parked? And I'm not talking about little RVs that are like 11 to 20, 30. And I'm talking about motorhome, $60,000 to $90,000 long motorhomes parked off into one of the side streets. So I'm like, so that's got to be that neighbor and that neighbor's, because they wouldn't have room, or they would complain if it was not those neighbors. I drive around the other end. I see another mobile home. I said, RV home. I'm like, is he got an RV parked in the front? Drive a little further, another RV. I'm like, what is going on? I'm going around the loop. I see 4 different work trucks, AC, roofing. I saw a plumbing van. Then I go a little bit further. I see 2 boats. I'm like, what is going on? What's happening? So I'm walking around neighborhood. I see 3 different motorcycles. I tell my mom, you know what it is? All these guys, I saw 3 semi trucks. Now it was just the bobtail, not the long part, but just the bobtail. And I said, the man, one of the houses it was parked at, I said, this man has 3 BMWs, 1 for his wife, 2 for him, an old one and a new one. And I have never seen his yard not manicured. I've never not seen the BMWs parked outside so you can look at them. There's even a guy over here. He's always golfing, so you always see him with the golf bags. And all of a sudden, you see all this stuff parked in people's yards or by their house. See a whole freaking boat blocking up their driveway. And I said, you know what it is? Every one of these people are feeling the pinch. And instead of figuring out, let me make an extra $100 to $200 a month so that my work truck is parked at an office, or my boat is parked at a boatyard, or my work trucks are parked away from my home, or these semi trucks are parked at $100 to $200 a month in a yard. They're trying to figure out how to save $100 to $200. That's exactly what's happening. They're all at the same time figuring out, how do I save $100 to $200? Oh my God, how do I save it? They're trying their hardest to squeeze that dollar. Like, I'd rather have my yard full of stuff than figure out how to let it go. I saw one of the ladies had a pod, and she was emptying the pod into her garage. I mean, the garage was already full, and she was putting more things. I'm like, oh, you got to get rid of the pod. You can't keep renting the pod. I know what's happening. So, and this is the type of neighborhood, and the reason I say it's up middle to upper middle. I mean, people are like, oh, okay, you're gonna think you're so fancy. There's 3 homes right now in our neighborhood that, as I walk by, they're vacant. The owner's not there. One of the owners lives in Florida half the year, taking care of their family, comes back North Carolina rest time. One of them is half empty, half vacant. They fixed, remodeled it, and they were going to sell it, but then they changed their mind because they might move back to North Carolina, so it's just sitting empty. So you're talking about a neighborhood where people can afford to have 3 different houses sit empty for half a year. These are like not the cheapest houses, and we're on a lake, and so you're like, wow, you can afford that? Cool, dude. So I always want people to take it with a grain of salt that in these times, if you're trying to squeeze out that extra $100, $200, $300, you're trying to squeeze that small amount of money, you're in any hiccup, any hailstorm through the roof, any fire damage, electrical damage, any of that stuff is going to cause your insurance is going to change because they're going to ask you, where is your RV parked? Where is your Jeep and your Wranglers and your motorcycles parked? Where is your work truck parked? Where is your work truck with roofing materials and home, home materials parked? Oh, it's parked in by your house? Oh, yes, we're going to change that. Right? So again, many people who were kind of hiding, and I'm be careful I would say bad choices. Some of them I would say splurges, like the boat is a splurge because we're not necessarily on the water in my town. We're near water. We're an hour and 30 minutes from water. Less than an hour, really. Straight up beach, go to the water. But to have a boat that should be wrapped and covered somewhere here, parked in front of your house, you can't. You're trying to save money. And I just told her as I walked the neighborhood, I'm like, this is crazy. All our neighbors are trying to figure out how to save money. And there's a few old fuddy duddies who are around certain edges, and I know they're probably pissed because we don't have HOA. The other side of the lake has HOA, but we don't. Okay. And I know exactly what that's about. All right. MJ said, surprised Fenty didn't have her sign a contract up front that she couldn't go to a competitor within a certain amount of time. Listen, I'm pretty sure because of the FTC saying you can non-compete clauses are not valid, people are going to be jumping ship left and right. The only person more ironclad than Dave Ramsey, I don't know. Dave Ramsey has people who cannot even put out podcasts, blogs, or books in their own name for like 5 to 10 years after they're on his show. And some of those people are just now coming out like, yay, it's me. And people are like, wait a minute. Don't I know you from the past? There are so many people who I would call are zombie creators. What do I mean zombie creators? They had a bunch of fame during the pandemic, and now they're kind of they don't know what to do. They don't want to spend money still promoting their business. They don't want to change. They don't want to pivot. They don't want to grow their business. They want to keep rehashing stuff and selling it to you. You guys, you have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to do differently. You just do. So even with this, I was speaking with someone that I love, of course, and they were like, well, that might always been her dream job to work for Victoria's Secret. And I was like, listen, for $18 million, it'll be her dream job. You know what I mean? Like, I truly believe they're not paying you $18 million because you're such an excellent CEO. Fenty was doing well before she came. It did even better last year for sure, but they're not paying her $18 million for 1 year. They're paying her $18 million to be like, tell me what the competition's doing. Tell me what they're doing different that we are doing different. Tell me why young people treat Victoria's Secret like it's white diamonds. Does anybody know what white diamonds is? Put a 1 in the comment if you know what white diamonds is. If you know what Chanel number 5 is, put a number 2 in the comments. But if you know what white diamonds is, drop a 1 in the comments. A lot of young people are treating Victoria's Secret like it's white diamonds. Like, no, my grandma wore that. What are you talking about? I don't wear that. My grandma wore that. So again, non-complete clauses by the FTC. Now people can take you to court. Now, one of the bigger things is, let's say you sell your company to another company, right? They can have some clauses in there where you have to continue to work with them for maybe 2 to 5 years. But overall, after that point, you can go make whatever business you want. And that's kind of what you're seeing with a guy I've been promoting a lot on my Instagram is like, he sold his company in 2019. And he says to this day, mistake. I could have made that company be $100 million company, but I was so tired because the CEO you need to be at the startup phase. This is why I keep putting wartime CEO over all my stuff that you guys see. Wartime CEO, scaling CEO, and then a chill time CEO are absolutely different. If you look back at Wendy's is a prime example of this. when Dave Thomas was alive and Wendy's was booming and it was delicious and the Frosty had the nice thick sand in it and the burgers were delicious and you could go to Wendy's and you're like, Dave Thomas, man, he got this place jumping. The meals are great. That was wartime. That was scaling. Now we're in a season of Wendy's fell off and Wendy's is trying to come back up. Hey, we're going to give you a strawberry frosty. We're going to give you a vanilla frosty. We're going to give you all this random stuff instead of just going back to making the burgers good and the chicken nuggets good. That's the best way to explain that. Right? So right now, not Beyonce. Sorry. Rihanna has got the Billy status, got the 2 kids. She's got the man. They are married. They're going to say they're not married. They're going to wait till somebody pulls out their marriage certificate from somewhere. The same way they just did Nelly and Shanti. Somebody snitches. Oh, yeah, they've been married, right? That's going to happen sometime later. And we've been married, right? She's got the billionaire status. And Fenty was kind of like in your face. We are the other. Now she has to figure out, how do you make Fenty every year continue to be this place? Now, to me, I would use this information of my CEO just jumped ship to Victoria's Secret, that we're the underdog. We're still just trying to fight for our space out here. We're the underdog. And you should support us because we're the smaller guy. All right? She should do that. Oh, yeah. Insurance companies watch Homes with Drums all the time. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All the time. Chris Hogan must be on 10. Chris Hogan's got to be on the 10-year. Chris Hogan's wife was silly. You guys don't know Chris Hogan. He was going to be the Dave Ramsey. He was going to be who they were going to place the crown on the head of to continue the Dave Ramsey legacy. And because, oh boy, chocolate brother with a dark, very white voice could not stop touching ladies. He slept with his sister's wife, his wife's sister, slept with a girl at the office, slept around with ladies. Now you said, man, that's bad. That's terrible. He got counseling for that, right? Well, then his wife, who's mad because, really, this man don't want to be bothered with you no more. He about to be rich and famous. He's about to be the Dave Ramsey. She starts showing up at Dave Ramsey offices, acting a fool. She starts being ratchet, because y'all claim them women can't be ratchet, but we already know that. Anyway, she's showing up at the book signings, acting a fool. This white lady, this feminine white lady going around cutting a fool. Dave Ramsey's like, all right, that's enough. That's enough. I saved you because you was silly. But now we're getting lawsuits because there's pregnant women in the office at Dave Ramsey's who were suing. Why? Because they were pregnant and not married, and he fired them because it was in the clauses. It was in the religious clause. Can't be working at Dave Ramsey knocked up and not married. The knocked up pregnant lady said, wait a minute. Chris Hogan over here sleeping with everybody in the hallway. But I can't be here because I'm pregnant and I do my work. That's right. So they took the mantle off him. And like anybody knows, he didn't even get a proper goodbye video. But I say probably about 5 more years, you'll see Chris Hogan come back out because he has a voice for radio. He has a voice for audiobooks. But when you cannot control this is why when people try to say, look how body and fit somebody is, look how, Arnold Schwarzenegger is so fit, look at his body. But he had no sexual discipline. He joked about how he slept all over Hollywood. Red Sonja, they were sleeping together on the TV show, on the movie set. Everybody on the other one, what's her name with the wildness? Grace Jones said everybody was sleeping together back then. They doing all kind of stuff, okay? So he had no sexual discipline. And so Arnold Schwarzenegger is now remembered for making this other kid that looks more like him than his other kids with his wife. Right? He's more known for having the kid outside of marriage than he is for being the governor of California. Terminator and the kid that he knocked, the maid he knocked up. That's how you remember Arnold Schwarzenegger. Powerful, bodybuilder, amazing, knocked his maid up. That's how you remember Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so when people try to argue with me about, you got to be disciplined, you got to eat healthy and work out all the time. And that's how I know if I respect a business owner, if they're got 6-pack abs, man, bullshit. There's business owners out here cheating on their wives and people will not do business with them because they're like, if you're going to cheat on her and she's your ride or die, you certainly going to break contract with me. You certainly going to cut corners with me. You certainly gonna do bad business with me. Listen, I have had to stop doing business with multiple people once I saw how their spouse acted. Once I saw how their spouse and their children were like, I hate this person. Once I saw how their spouse, if your spouse will do that to you, man, they'll kill me. When I ain't paying attention, I'll turn my shoulder and they'll probably shoot me in my back toe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't take that risk. And y'all got to realize there's people out here like that. The internet has allowed a lot of people to show you the nice side of stuff, but you get up close, you're like, what? Get your crazy self away from me. Be careful. Okay, let me keep going. Mature lady perfume. That's a perfect analogy for it. Elizabeth Taylor. The equivalent of granny panties. Yeah. You take Victoria's Secret to some of these young kids, they'll be like, who? There is something I want you guys to understand. If you go online right now, and I'll probably show some examples on the community wall. There are companies, and they're young people, 18 to 30 years old. They're making t-shirts and clothes and jeans, because you can literally order jeans locally. You know what I mean? Like particular unique jeans, just the way we did baby fat jeans and all that stuff. Small clothing batches, 200 shirts, and they will sell out. They'll just do launches and they'll sell out, and they will make $500,000 to $1 million a year. Some of these kids are making $2 to $3 million a year gross, and it allows them to get credit cards. Because I keep going trying to understand that once your company makes $2 to $3 million, credit cards, business funding is absolutely different. We talk about it in the funding course a lot. But if you're ever in the funding course, I explain it to you. Once you hit certain numbers, certain metrics, it's a wrap. And now you get access to different type of credit, different type of capital. Those kids are riding around in Porsches and fast cars, and people can't understand why these kids ain't going to work and getting jobs. Because the way business is set up, if you follow some of these templates, it's just a numbers game. All right. Because you talk to some of these adults out here, oh, I never want to run a business. I just want to go to work and do nothing and then go home and get a paycheck every Friday. If I had to be responsible for a business, I just would die. I would just die. And you're like, all right, good to know. I'm prime example. I'll talk about roofing in Dallas. There's over 9,000 roofing clubs in Dallas. The average Dallas roofing company makes $3 million a year. That's literally, maybe they do 20 to 30 roofs over the course of like every 90 days or something like that. Right. And you're going to say, well, how can a business do that many roofs? Because the same people are servicing all the roofing companies. It's really just the salespeople going out, knocking doors, checking stuff. Like, it's just the amount of homes out here that will need repair in the next 5 to 10 years, from roofing to plumbing to yard to landscaping to tree removal to electrical to everything. You guys are the companies that make the money the next 5 to 10 years are gonna be service companies that repair, service companies that go send guys out to be trained, service companies that pay for schooling. They're gonna make a killing. So the way y'all look at business is this, like, I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to work hard. I want to make sure everybody else does work and I just show up. But I'm going to tell you right now, I just saw Sean Coakley. Same thing where we're talking about CEOs and non-compete clauses. It hasn't come out yet, but give him a minute. Right? All the guys were mad at him 6 months ago because he got engaged to a single mom. He's like, they're like, you're a high value man engaged to a single mom. And she's a fucking knockout. She's like a size 3, tall, long hair beauty, natural long hair black lady from one of them islands. And they're like, I can't believe you're married to a single mom from Houston that's into fitness. He's just like, what's your problem? Sorry. But he was on that mode where he just let 2 Middle Eastern guys run all the whole warehouse, run all his supplies, run all his shipments. The company's making $50 million selling shorts and t-shirts and whatnot. And he's just autopilot. Well, now he had to step back into the business and rebuild the whole thing. You cannot just say, yeah, all y'all run this and I'm going to go play all day. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go play all day. No, you have to have some touch points. Even Rihanna has touch points where she checks in on Fendi. And everybody's like, well, her attitude, I don't care about her attitude. If you're a CEO, you're going to pay millions of dollars. You don't care about Rihanna's attitude. You're like, yeah, okay, girl, get out of my office so I can finish doing what I do. If you're a businessman or woman, isn't that not so much what you do, but just who you are? At certain levels in business, it's who you are, right? It's who you are, because unique is cool when it's winning. Unique isn't cool when it's not winning, right? Unique and different gets you motion in the marketplace, right? Now the first couple years of business, till you get to about $1 million, it's you. Then that 1 million to 5 million is like systems that you have in your office, right? Not just saying you've trained 3 people and those 3 people train everybody else. So depending on those next 3 people you hire, your business can get stuck about $15 million. From 1 million to 15 million. You guys will be stuck because of how you train those first 3 people and then how they trained everybody after them. This is why AT&T, Verizon, all these big blue, corporate companies, they keep sending people to training. And people think it's a waste of time, but what happens is you're trying to break the habits of the person they learned the training from. That's what they're doing. So a lot of small time businesses are like, I'm not going to pay $250 to send, 5 guys to this conference. I'm not going to do that. They need to be working. Well, no, you need to send those 5 guys to that conference to get them all refreshed, shake their mind clear that, hey, first of all, your boss is paying you great money. He's sending you conferences. You're getting educated. You can find ways to do things better. 9 times out of 10, the business owner is the bottleneck in the business. I know that personally myself from me being the bottleneck. And I know that personally from like having to set the assets with somebody else for them to manage. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm over my head, manage them for me, and they do a great job. So yeah. White diamond, Elizabeth Taylor. My mom wears it. She's 80. There you go. The FTC, thank you, Ellen Vickers. FTC non-complete litigation only applies to people making less than $150,000. For executives making over that, they have to comply. Making over that, they absolutely have to comply if there is one in place. El Vickers, I think honestly, the CEO snatch poach game is strong. Like even on LinkedIn and recruiting companies, the way I was taught, and it's one of the companies we will probably have on back burner still, but go poach from somebody who's already working. Companies like a person who's already in the field working. This is what's so dangerous about being unemployed. They go, that person's unemployed and nobody poached them. No other company wanted them in the space, in the city they're in. It's almost like a triple negative. And so I always tell people, like, I know people love wanting to quit their job and hop to job hop, but I'm like, job hop while you at a job. Because if you can hear some of the training that I received in recruiting, nobody wants the unemployed guy or girl. Nobody. I mean, even now I'm helping recruit a person for a company right now. And the phone calls I've been getting are like insane, where people are like, hey, why don't you give a person like me a chance? And you're like, first of all, you're unemployed. You lost your last job because of this. You're good. Yeah, keep it moving, right? You're not what we're looking for. And people won't understand that. The guy, girl who's working, positive, promoting, productive, they're probably from another company. So I get the under 150 thing. Rihanna makes lingerie for women of all sizes and makeup of all shades. The bonus is she is the brand for sure, Tiffany. And I remember one of these companies, black women were kind of throwing a pissy tent. Why can't I just go in the store and get this black makeup in a black shade? Well, when people bought the black shade, there was influencers mocking it. Like they started putting it on their face. White girls being put it on their face. They're like, this is ridiculous. This is disrespectful. You guys should boycott. And so people were like, this one comedian said, these people took 14 tires and ran them over in the ground and and turned it and made it to makeup and gave it to you. You should be insulted. You should be like boycotting them. And boycotts necessarily don't work, but take your money and go put it somewhere else. And this is what's happening to all the major companies. Every time I see a black entrepreneur that makes something just for black people or just for brown people or just for Latino people, and they sell it to these bigger companies, I'm like, it'll be gone in 5 years. They don't care. They don't care to serve you. You're not a big enough marketplace. They're like, okay, I'm going to get maybe 1 million to 5 million black women buying this. I don't care. That's not enough. When I can advertise to like 50 million white women and Latino women that want fair makeup. It's not worth it to me. But to a smaller company that can resell on repeat to 5 million women, it's great. Shoot, just a half a thousand. Like, y'all don't understand the numbers. If you just have 100,000 people spending $10 a year with you, that's literally $1 million company. Let's say you have 100,000 people spending 100 with you. It's perfect. A lot of people don't want to hear that. And also the kind of other factor is when other girls of other races see somebody black buy something, they're like, what are they buying over there? What's that over there? Let me see. Let me be nosy. It works wonders. It's all marketing. It's all marketing. Frosty had sand in it. Frosty had mineral clay from Georgia in it. This is a real thing. You can look it up on your own time. And they took that mineral clay out, it ain't good no more. Wendy's used to sell fried chicken in Maryland. Dave died and so went the chicken. I believe it. Same thing with Bojangles right now. Bojangles is getting away from what it used to be. Bojangles and Whataburger sold to Chicago private equity that supplies money to pension funds. And they're already starting to cut quarters. My company uses drone to check illegally utilities with infrared sensors. Ebony J, Detroit. Listen, I had a house in Detroit. They told me I had a $2,000 water bill and a $3,000 electricity bill. And I said, ma'am, the house has been vacant, boarded up, and it was in a fire. There's no electricity. She said, baby, somebody getting it. Somebody's getting your electricity and somebody's getting your water. And I go, why is the water turned on if no one's there? And she said, well, in Detroit, we don't turn the water off because that's cruel. Detroit is the epitome of liberal thinking gone wrong. Liberal thinking, liberal actions destroying the city. The union destroying the city, liberal thoughts destroying the city. They're tough people now. I will give it to all Detroit people. They're fighters. They're warriors. Like Cleveland has the toughest women I've ever seen in my life. Right? Tough broads. Philly is the toughest. But the policies there have hurt the people and they can't see it. Yeah, he slept with his sister's wife. That's out of control. And they have a disabled child. So then his wife, going back to Chris Hogan, some of y'all see, I'm seeing the comments late. Chris Hogan's wife, their child is disabled, like severely disabled. And he needs like special health care. And she went up there after she made all this fracas. She's running around showing her butt. She won't act right in the therapy. She going crazy, being a ratchet white lady. Then goes up there and tell Dave Ramsey, please don't cut off our health insurance. Our kid has special needs. Girl, your husband was about to own the whole dynasty, but you didn't know how to act. This is why when I talk about it matters who you marry, it matters who you're partnering with. If you're just partnering for looks, you'll be destroyed every time. If you can't hold a sentence with somebody. I remember it's 2020. What was so crazy is people were going crazy during the pandemic because they actually had to sit with their spouse and their children. And there was like mass pews of families. And they said, oh, it's the pandemic. It's the pandemic. It's people being locked in their homes. No. It was people being locked in their homes with people they didn't like. That they don't even like. Being around kids they can't stand. And work was the thing that let them be out of the house and hide who they really were. That's just what it is. Thank you, L. Vickers, becoming a member. Okay. They're paying her $18 million to create intrinsic value, beauty, even though it comes from God. For sure. His infidelity removed his record as a whole governor of California. I'm telling you, like, and people think that's ridiculous. They're like, oh, you guys, the mom should never tell the kids about the dad cheating on mom. That's sloppy. Shame on the mom. I'm like, society will do that. Like, they're like, shame on you. You're an idiot. Your kids aren't dummies. Your kids have eyes. By the time they're 18, they're like, damn, dad, that was dumb. Yeah. Enjoy your coffee. Listen, I'm just saying what I'm saying. Yeah, to Shea Moisture brand. It's trash now. I don't even buy it. I always keep looking for new stuff. Third Ward Colombian. Good afternoon, Erica. I guess the situation proves the white man ice is always colder. Unfortunately. unfortunately. As I have my chocolate cream cold brew, the chocolate then got on the bottom. Hold on. The chocolate then went to the bottom. I don't know. I saw Target selling extensions. They want that Korean money. Listen, extensions are $1 billion industry, not because of black people, because of white women. There's one lady who's very famous for always showing white women's extensions. Y'all are delusional if you think all these white women are out here to their butt. It is not happening. And it's because the food people eating, the drinking, the water, they need vitamins, all this stuff. But there are Miko Icon. And what's her husband's name? Oh, I forgot his name. Adam or something Icon. They were on Gary Vee a long time ago, maybe 5 years ago. They sold a hair extension company, which was to white girls and Middle Eastern girls, for like $70 million in like 2020. And then they created the 5-minute journal. And the 5-minute journal sells so much on Amazon. I can go look up the numbers, but I don't have it in front of me. The 5-minute journal sells like 20 million a year in journals online. 20 to 30 million. And so when I tell people, when people say, oh, you're just a business owner that sells courses and stuff, I go, y'all, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. These kids who actually have a brain, who are actually thinking, actually educating themselves, if you could sell courses from 2019 to 2021, great. You made a lick. That's your lick. Go run off with it. You made 5 mil. You made 20 mil. You made 30 mil. Take that money and that's your money to live. That's like your NFL money. You're never going to hit those numbers again in your life. Sam Owens, I got the name of 100 white dudes who are like, it's dead, right? Pat Flynn is running around saying courses and all that stuff is dead because they made such astronomical money. They know they will never make that kind of money again, right? But if you have actual skills, you have actual brain, you're an actual business person, you can hop and pivot to the next solution or ideal like that. Literally, they sold the hair extension company. They had a warehouse in Canada because their family was still in Canada. They had a warehouse overseas, and they were making a killing. And a company came by and said, we'll pay you $70 million. Give us everything. Don't hold on to any of it. Give us everything. We're going to use your pictures, your likeness, all this stuff. Give it to us. And they were like, okay, well, how do you have, I remember he was in an interview. They said, how do you have productivity? Oh, I have this 5-minute journal. He put that journal out. I remember in 2020, that journal sold so many. It was crazy. Now they have different variations of the journal. Trust me. Like, if you have business sense, you can keep selling different things. I thought liberalism thinking was in California. No, liberalism. So what people forget is the true blue Democrats used to be Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Michigan, all these places where the union was. You know, a blue collar white guy working in the factory, you know, has guns. And it's like, I'm not a Republican. That's crazy, right? They were old, what we call, there's a word for them. It's called like blue Democrats or purple Democrats. It's some word. Just like you have Dixiecrats in the South, where basically their voting pattern really aligns with Republican views, but they always vote Democrat because they've always voted Democrat. Those are the type of white people you have in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Maine, those areas. So even if you're a white guy, you're going to run as a Democrat because it's just what's going to vote, right? So it's more than New York and LA. Many people think it's just New York and California, but those are parts of the Midwest look the way they look because people refuse to kind of grow. Man, I see there's yeah, I'm gonna stop. I ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that one. Looking like old horses. Damn. Paris Hilton kicked off the white girl extension thing in 2000, but she had it before that, right? It just became apparent because they were so terribly worn sometimes, right? Oh no, it's not over for Fenty at all. It's not over for Fenty. Fenty, I'm just saying this is a prime example of someone poaching a CEO and the non-compete clauses and all that other stuff. There's nothing to protect her, right? And even though they say FTC has voted against non-compete clauses, they said you can't do them. So there, if Victoria's Secret that's been struggling, like dead, White Diamond's dead, is like, hey, we'll pay 18 million. Come on, girl. They're not paying her because she's such a great CEO. She was only there a year. They're paying her for tell me what they're doing. Tell me how they implement it. Let's go. Thank you so much. Someone said blue dog Democrats. That is the official term for white, working class, blue collar. Hey, do what you want. I'm pro-choice Democrats. That's what that is. Okay. So part of all this show is, oh yeah. Especially tech. Yeah, especially tech. So the biggest part of all this is, when I talk about zombie companies, a lot of people are trying to convince you to go out here and buy companies. 20% of all companies in America are zombie companies. Why? Because they can kind of get them to a number, $500,000 or $1 million or $3 million a year, but the company will never make more than that. They have a bunch of debt on their books. What you think of is Toys R Us, but that's because Toys R Us got Bain Capital money, and then instead of taking the loan from Bain Capital, whoever their genius CEO was, they should have took at least $1 million to $3 million pumping up their online website and figuring out how to make more money. Even right now, Amazon is starting to work with TikTok because they see the big writing on the wall. Man, TikTok Shop is making people millionaires. This is crazy. We better get ahead of this. We better start competing. We better start figuring out a partnership, or they're going to walk off with our cookies. Period. Right? So this is going to be happening in a lot of places. Now you probably see on the screen, I have a thing that said, check out the ticket plug, the ticket trap. Check out the link there, the ticket trap. You'll see probably emails this week. We have about 3 different email lists that are thousands of people on them. And you guys, I appreciate all the responses, but you'll probably see a lot of emails for the rest of the year over some great products and services and things that we enjoy, just kind of giving you a pulse of what's going on and where you should go. But the election's going to have a lot of y'all distracted. I already know what's about to happen. The election noise is distracting you. Most people right now, if you talk to them, they're like, oh God, I can't wait for school to start, right? School's coming back. Thank the Lord. You're like, I don't have kids. But my nephew's getting ready to go. Oh, okay, yeah. Because that's all their brain is focused on. How can this kid get out of my house so I don't have to pay more money for food, so I don't have to pay for daycare, so I don't have to think about where this child goes every day and how much I'm involved in this child's life. That's essentially what they're saying. The second part of that is football. I've already seen people footballed out, like clothes, already wearing the clothes. The kids are going to college. Their parents are already wearing the football gear. The biggest and smartest thing I can suggest to you right now, if you haven't took our digital real estate course, is what content for the last parts of the year, the last 19 weeks of the year, are you selling to football parents, school parents, right? What are you selling to people who are, what are you selling to these people? Because 9 times out of 10, these people are checked out, right? They're already like, what can I wear for winter? I saw pumpkins and Halloween gear at Home Depot earlier, and I was like, Jesus, we're in August. So they're trying to milk that holiday some more, get you to decorate your house, get you to buy a ton of candy your kids don't need. So pay attention. What are ways you can thrive this fall? Because no matter who you vote for, and let's be very clear, no matter who you vote for, some people think, oh, I can't wait to vote this fall. Oh, it's all over. I don't have to do another thing. That's incorrect. It's incorrect. I just did the video showing you about Chase Bank. I don't know if that's released yet. Chase Bank and all these companies having major issues closing your bank accounts, deciding that, hey, guess what? Chase just told 86 million members, that free checking that we gave y'all, I think we're going to change that. We're going to start charging everybody $5 a month, maybe $10 a month. Now you're going to say, Erica, well, $5 a month isn't that bad. $5 times 86 million customers? Let's do the math. $5 a month to 86 million customers? Let's just say $10 a month to 86 million customers. Chase don't care about you. 94 banks just had a stress test, and Chase Bank don't care about you. They're going to get this money, and they're going to figure out a way to milk it because they know people don't like change. You know how many times in the funding class we had people get on the phone with me after class and say, Oh, I heard what you say about the regional banks and smart, but I just like having all my accounts at Bank of America. My mortgage is there. My direct deposit goes there. Everything's there. And I go, have they ever given you a bank loan? Have they ever given you a credit card? No, they haven't. So you've been giving these people your money for 10 years, and you give them money for a mortgage, and they won't even give you a credit card. Like, you're the best customer. You're a sucker. You need to take your business and at least open up another account somewhere else. Move your money around. And this is what people don't want to do, anything that's uncomfortable. So if you can sell this fall to anybody something that makes their whatever easier, right? Even the 5-minute journal planner I was talking about. Oh, I need to journal my life. I need to write down what I want to do. And you don't even want to sit down and journal. They're like, this is a 5-minute journal. Oh, I got 5 minutes. I can do that. That's how people are. They don't even want to waste more than 5 minutes. So if you can figure out a product or service that can serve people, depending on the what thing they're doing, you will make money this fall. Very much so. Okay. If you got value out of this video, definitely drop a 1 in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I have been out and about. I've been on sabbatical. I've been traveling around. As you can see, Skynet was nice to me this past week and gave us 33,000 views. Because we probably should always have 33,000 views on all our videos. But because Skynet chooses winners and losers, we always have to just rock with what it gives us. And we make our money in our other business this fall. And if you're in Atlanta, August 25th, I will see those there at a very special location. I will be releasing probably in about 3 days here. Anytime I release it any earlier, we get weirdos. We get a few other people going on. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Hope this encouraged you. At the end of the day, man, a lot of job hopping going on in tech and everywhere else. Good luck out there, my friends. Definitely figure out ways to make more income from home. One of the links that you see on the screen is one of those ways you can make more money from home. So anyways, you guys, this is your girl, Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Have a great evening.